Four Planes by Ricky Martorana. It was a quiet morning and it was sunny out. I had nothing to worry about on the quiet morning except for my doctor's appointment at the clinic down the street from our house. I was excited because when I had an appointment, my parents wouldn't make me go to school late because it was really embarrassing for me. I was looking forward to chilling out at home, eating cereal, and watching cartoons. But little did I know I wouldn't be watching any cartoons that day. We walked down the street to the small clinic on the next street over. It was a little breezy, but it was a short walk before we were sitting inside the waiting room waiting for the doctor to call my name. There was a TV mounted in the corner and the news was on. I didn't pay much attention to it until I looked at my mom. She had her hand over her mouth and was almost in tears. I looked up at the TV to see a video of an airplane flying really low above the ground before crashing straight into a tall skyscraper. At first I didn't realize exactly what was occurring. Before I knew it, we were walking through the front door of our house. My dad and grandma were already glued to the TV, watching the same video I had just seen in the waiting room. As I read the headlines, I began to understand what was happening. It was a terrorist attack on the United States of America, and all because we had different beliefs than that of the attackers. I didn't understand how someone could kill themselves and take the lives of so many other people just over a difference in religion. For 3 days, the only thing on TV was news. The same videos of the first plane crash, followed by the second, and then the final collapse of the towers. We watched people jumping out of windows just trying to escape the fiery hell that these towers had become. We watched as the towers collapsed. We saw people run for their lives, trying to outrun the death clouds of debris. People fell and were caught in the smoke, and that's where they died. We heard testimonies of people that were there. The firefighters, the police officers, even people who were there that morning, on their way to work, and were stopped dead in their tracks at the sight of the plane crashing into the building. They said that every few minutes you could hear a loud thump over the villain music playing at a nearby restaurant, and it was the sound of another person hitting the ground. These people just wanted it all to end. There were 2 more planes that crashed that day, and they had different destinations. One was aimed for the Pentagon, where it hit its target. The other was headed for the White House, but was brought down in the Pennsylvania field. We heard about the commotion at the Pentagon, but the main story was about the people who decided to take a stand against the people who wished our homeland pain and suffering. We heard the phone calls that the people aboard Flight United 93 made to their families, knowing that they were probably never making it home. They knew they had to do something to ensure that the plane never hit its target. The plane crashed in a field in Pennsylvania away from anything in which people resided. The only people who died in that crash were the ones who boarded that plane that morning. September 11, 2001 is a day that will stand out in history, not just in the minds of the many people who lost those they held dear. It happened over 6 years ago, but the images that crossed my eyes are still as vivid as ever. I can't imagine what life must be like for the people who were there when it happened. The firefighters and police officers who were looking for survivors at Ground Zero, or the people who survived and escaped the fiery towers, or even the people who ran as fast as they could to get away from the towers as they collapsed. These are the people who will never forget that day.